Ladies and gentlemen, this morning let's talk aviation. When you board a flight, have you wondered that when you're sipping your favorite wine or you're having your favorite meal, there is a lot of choreography that goes on in the background which you probably are not aware of. Let's explore the flavors that go into making a flight successful and, not to mention, safe. You start off with a plane taxiing, and a taxiway is a clear road. It's not a Kolkata street where the pilot starts to accelerate. He can't do that. He's not Michael Schumacher. So in aviation terms, a taxiing speed is kept at about 40 kilometers per hour maximum. And what he does, when the pilot starts off, he holds short of the runway and asks the air traffic control. This is the conversation. Kolkata Tower, we're ready to take off. And we would mean Flightbird 123, which is the call sign of the aircraft. So Flightbird 123, ready for takeoff. Kolkata Tower would have seen the sequence and very unemotionally replies, cleared for takeoff, Flightbird 123. So what happens, the pilot then starts off, and on the runway you could feel that acceleration when you are ready to take off. But remember, when you're in the cockpit, the pilot has to take care of two speeds. It's V1 and V2. What is V1? In technical terms, V1 is the velocity which is achieved, after which there is no scope to turn around. Even if there is a warning message, you need to take off, go around and come back. And then there's a V2. At a V2 speed, there is enough thrust generated by the engines, there is enough lift from the wings, so the aircraft is actually safe to fly. You take the control column, the pilot takes the control column and moves it so that the plane takes off. The very important speed terms, and both the pilot and co-pilot have to be in tandem in doing that. When he starts off into the air, the conversation between the air traffic control and the ground and the pilot is still on. For example, he'll say, climb heading 180 to flight level 250. 250 in aviation terms would mean that flight level 25,000 feet. So it's climbing, the aircraft is climbing, you'll see the seatbelt sign on. At this stage, obviously it's not allowed to move in the aircraft. Have you ever wondered that when the plane reaches an altitude of about 25,000 feet, why does it always have to travel at that level? There is no technical stoppage preventing it from going at about 10,000 feet. A plane can technically fly lower, but it's all about cost. And if you're in India, it's almost always about cost. So you talk about at 30,000 feet, the ticket price would go down because the air is thinner, and because the air is thinner, there's a little less drag on the aircraft. And because of the less drag on the aircraft, it would mean that you can actually fly on that altitude at a very low price comparatively. So you save this economics of scale there. At that cruise altitude, there is autopilot which is taking control. The monitor, the instruments are being monitored, but the pilot then just unstraps the seatbelts and takes a. Sometimes you even see him taking a stroll along the aircraft. So it's a time when things are in control. You'll be probably served your hot meal or your wine. If you're traveling a long distance aircraft, you can monitor on the air show the speed, the altitude, etc. You can watch your favorite movie. And then at that altitude, when you just think you're sufficiently rested and you think you've just had your nap, you'll have the pilot announce, ladies and gentlemen, we began a descent through the city of Delhi. The outside temperature in Delhi is about 25 degrees centigrade. We plan to land you by 8 p.m. well, subject to ATC clearance. Now, mind that little talk about the pilot would mean that you could actually be circling for another 30 minutes because there are a lot of flights in the air. So prepare yourself or brace yourself that 8.5 is just his estimate. So that would be the time when this, which is called the descent phase. The descent phase is very important because there is constant communication. There are planes in front of you at various altitudes, there are planes behind you, so you have to be very careful in terms of how you communicate as a pilot or as a co-pilot. And at that time, it is the pilot or the co-pilot which says that I'll be in control. So one of them will actually be landing the plane and decide that prior to that. There are checklists that have to be gone through. They have a number of checklists. What happens at the final time when the plane lines up to the runway is that a flare is performed. Many of you would have seen that the nose of the plane is lifted up and it lands on the rear wheels first and then on the front wheels. That is called a flare. The speed of the aircraft would have to be kept above a certain speed called a stall speed. If it is not, the aircraft would stall and it would crash. What is stall? It would mean there is not enough air being generated and able to lift the aircraft, it would just crash on the ground. So these things have to be taken care of. The engines would be in reverse thrust. Normally the engines would be moving forward, but reverse thrust would mean that when it lands on the runway, the engines have to provide thrust in the reverse direction, which means it is helping the aircraft to slow down. And then what happens in small airports, there is no rapid exit taxiway. That means you have to go towards the end of the runway, take a turn, come back to the taxiway. It would actually prevent the other plane from landing, another few minutes of that plane hovering around. In commercial airports like Dubai Airport, for example, you have a rapid exit taxiway. What does it mean? The plane lands and immediately clears off from the runway and the next plane can land or take off. Now imagine this, while all this is happening, there are people sitting in a room like this, and monitoring the screens. These people are called the air traffic controllers. It's a video game which has no error, no scope for error. It has to be always 100% right, always. So these people are the air traffic control, ensuring that your plane is brought down safely to the ground. All they see is a blip on the radar with the number of the plane, the call sign, and the altitude. They have to ensure that you have a safe journey always. So there was this situation where air traffic controllers said that we are in a stressful job and as stressed out as the pilots, but the pilots are in control obviously and air traffic controllers are the supporting roles. So when you fly next time, understand that there are a lot of options, a lot of factors working together and in tandem. The air traffic controllers could not go wrong. There was a case that happened recently, a few years back, where the air traffic controllers did not do the job properly and there was a close miss. And close miss happen quite often. And these are not reported because people are safe. But you have to be careful that these people have shifts of about 45 minutes and then they take a break. You cannot have an air traffic controller working more than that because it will stress them out. And they don't work more than 6 hours a day. 6 hours a day with a 45-minute period and about 10 minutes break. Because these people are responsible for your plane to be in air and on the ground safely. So the next time you buy a ticket and sit on a plane, consider this. There are a lot of factors. There are a lot of factors going on in tandem which have to work in perfect choreography and perfect harmony for you to be able to land the plane and for you to be able to have the next journey in time. Don't you think so, Mr. Toastmaster?